Hello, my name is Mindy Silverglide, and this is my thesis defense for Southern Illinois University titled The Relationship Between Hypothetical Rewards and Self-Reported Measures Among ABA Providers. Burnout refers to the psychological phenomenon which results from physical and emotional stress. ABA providers typically work one-to-one with children with autism for extended duration of time. This leaves them particularly susceptible to burnout. According to the BACB, 26% of ABA providers report emotional exhaustion, and 50% of ABA providers feel a lack of accomplishment. Burnout is also impacted by multiple person-level characteristics such as age, number of hours worked, level of educational attainment. These are the same person-level characteristics that often impact the decision-making process. People are confronted with making numerous decisions every day. This can vary from serious decisions such as our career to simplistic decisions such as what we want to wear. The process of decision-making is impacted by self-control and impulsivity. Impulsivity is generally defined as behavior lacking in foresight, inhibition, and an aversion for delay, while self-control is defined as a willingness and valuation of delayed gratification. When making decisions and the outcome is known, we typically will weigh the value against the time it takes to obtain it. With all variables considered equal, most people would choose the immediate reward over a delayed reward. This concept is known as discounting. And delayed discounting is a method for measuring self-control and impulsivity. When we're presented with choices between a smaller, sooner reward and a larger, later reward, most people would again choose the immediate reward. A smaller, sooner reward is linked to lower levels of self-control and higher levels of impulsivity, while a larger, later reward is linked to higher levels of self-control and lower levels of impulsivity. There has been an increasing amount of delayed discounting research. While some people believe that impulsivity and self-control, which are measured by delayed discounting, are personality traits, other people believe that it's a result of operant behavior. In 1988, Sulzer and Asaroff were able to teach children with increased impulsivity to tolerate delay. They systematically increased the delay period to the desired reinforcer. In 2014, Morrison et al. Used ACT with undergraduate students to increase their tolerance of psychological experiences to lower their discounting rates. Additionally, our ability to manipulate discounting practices through framing the delay period is yet another way to show that discounting practices are a method of operant behavior and not necessarily a personality trait. An area of delayed discounting research that is gaining popularity is discounting according to psychiatric disorders that are typically categorized by impulsivity. Addictive and personality disorders have been linked to steeply discounting or an increase in impulsivity. This is important because it leads to lower treatment outcomes because of an increase in hospitalization and a decrease in medication compliance. Additionally, steep discounting has been linked to maladaptive behaviors such as gambling, risky sexual behavior, debt, obesity, underutilization of health care, and it has also been linked to person-level characteristics such as age, income, and level of educational attainment, with a lower age, income, and educational attainment, there is also an increased level of impulsivity. The reason delay discounting research is important is because it allows us for identification of risk factors and then the ability to appropriately intervene. Hypothetical reward tasks are the most popular method of measuring delay discounting. In a hypothetical reward task, a single choice is presented either via computer or interacting with people. It's usually a variation of a procedure developed by Rocklin, Ranieri, and Cross, which involves presenting a smaller sooner reward versus a larger later reward. And there are repeated trials, and there are used to measure a variety of different commodities. Delayed discounting is also measured through either a hyperbolic function or area under the curve. Hyperbolic function is where the temporal delay increases, the subjective value also increases. The formula is V equals A divided by 1 plus KD, where V represents the subjective value, A represents the true value, D equals the delay period, and K equals rate of discounting. When using area under the curve, the formula is x2 minus x1, the sum of y1 plus y2 divided by 2, where x1 and x2 are successive delays and y1 and y2 are indifferent points. Area under the curve ranges from 0 to 1, with 0 representing maximum discounting, which is less self-control and more impulsivity, and 1 representing no discounting, which is more self-control or less impulsivity. So this current study then was to assess the subjective value of two different commodities, vacation time and money, among ABA providers. It was also to see if discounting practices relate to their person-level characteristics, and if so, delayed discounting practices do relate to those person-level characteristics. Can they also predict rates of burnout? There were 30 participants in this study, and they ranged from behavior therapists to RBTs to BCABAs and BCBAs. All of the participants were made through personal contacts of the author of this study. The materials used were two different hypothetical reward tasks for money and vacation time. Participants were asked, would you rather have $1,000 in 1 week or $500 now, for example? Or they were asked, would you rather have a 100-day vacation in 1 week or 90 days now? The surveys also included demographic information, which was used to assess person-level characteristics. A single or group email with a hyperlink to a Google survey was sent to all willing participants. And in order to analyze the data, both hyperbolic function and area under the curve were used. When money was the identified commodity and the hyperbolic function was used, there was an R2 value of 0.9926, indicating that the hyperbolic function was a good fit for this data. When you looked at the mean indifference points for the participants when money was the commodity, at the 1 week delay period, the mean indifference point was $980. At 2 weeks, $885. 1 month, $855. 1 month, $855. 6 months, $650. 1 year, $475. 3 years, $300, 10 years, $107.50. The mean AUC was R equals 0.3634. When looking at vacation time as the identified commodity, The R2 value was 0.9781, again indicating that the hyperbolic function was a good fit for this data. When you looked at the mean indifference point at 1 week was 99.5 days, 2 weeks was 90.5 days, 1 month was 86.5 days, 6 months was 70 days, 1 year was 65 days, 3 years was 40 days, 10 years was 12 days, and the mean AUC was R equals 0.3903. Figure 1 shows the median switch point per delay and days for the monetary survey, and Figure 2 is the bar graph of the AUC values per participant for the monetary survey. Figure 3 shows the median switch point per delay and days for the vacation time survey, where Figure 4 is the bar graph of the AUC values per participant for the vacation time survey. In addition to the hyperbolic function and AUC, Pearson's moment correlation was done to assess the correlation between money and vacation time, and it was found that they were discounted at similar rates. In addition, we looked at the Pearson correlations for the person-level characteristics. When money was the identified commodity, there was a moderate positive correlation between job satisfaction, income, age, role, and years of ABA experience. And there was a weak positive correlation when looking at the commitment to organization and level of educational attainment. When vacation time was the identified commodity, only moderate positive correlation was through educational attainment, which is interesting since both were discounted at similar rates. When the hyperbolic function was used, it was determined that it was a good fit for the data. The difference in K values was considered statistically insignificant, meaning that there were similar rates of discounting between money and vacation time. However, when AUC was used, there was a slightly higher discounting by delay when money was the given commodity. When you looked at the person-level characteristics, younger participants typically had a lower AUC or a higher level of impulsivity, where participants with a level of higher educational attainment, responsibility, and income level had a higher AUC, which is representative of lower impulsivity. Ultimately, what this means is that delay discounting tasks can be used as predictive measures of impulsivity as well as to predict high stress levels and burnout, because those same person-level characteristics that identify impulsivity and self-control are the same measures that were correlated with high stress levels and burnout. There are several limitations to this study, but those can be eliminated through future research. First of all, it was a hypothetical reward task only, and in order to eliminate the possibility that a hypothetical reward is not representative of real choices, you can do a real and hypothetical reward task and then check for convergent validity. Additionally, all participants were personal contacts, so using a randomized sample would be better. The survey was administered electronically, so there may have been variability in responses. So if you look at administering it both electronically and via a paper pencil test, and again testing for convergent validity, that could also eliminate that problem. Additionally, confounding variables weren't taken into consideration, like the mental, emotional, and physical health of individuals. In order to eliminate that in the future, additional demographic information such as familiarity with discounting tasks and overall health could be asked. Literature on delay discounting shows that person-level characteristics positively correlate with discounting practices. So ultimately, the results of this study show that these same characteristics positively correlate to discounting practices, meaning that delayed discounting tasks can also serve as a predictive measure of potential burnout.